The uniform is our Sunday and Saturday evening and no, Friday night. And can we start again?
Sure.
Okay. Ready? We had two uniforms. One was a regular blazer that we wore during the week, and then Friday night and Saturday we wear blue blazers, and the prefects wear blue blazers the whole week. So the non-prefect wear other type of kind of a brown jacket. So I was born in Bulgaria during the time of communism, and I was exposed to the wonderful socialism and communism, and I know a lot about it. My first experience was when the communists came, they tried to kill my father. This was after Hitler was defeated in 1944. And my father was a doctor, and since he was an intellectual, they tried to kill him. So my mother came home not to find my father in the evening. And they told her that they took him away to another town, which was like around 20 miles away. And the next day they were going to have a kangaroo court and execute him. So my mother walked all night in the snow, 5 feet of snow, to beg the judge not to kill my father. And a miracle happened. She saved my father. And that's why I'm here. So that is the good memory of the wonderful socialists and communists. And then when Stalin died, the Jews were allowed to leave Bulgaria and move to Israel. So we emigrated to Israel, and from Israel I came to England, to Whittinghame College.
What year was that?
1955 or something, yeah. And because we were poor, we didn't have a house in Israel. There was no food, no housing. And my mother was a dentist, so she worked 12 hours a day to pay for Whittinghame. And since when I was in Israel, I had no home. I was in boarding schools. So basically from the age of 11, I didn't have family life. My family became Whittinghame. Whittinghame College became my family. And that's why I'm so much involved with the reunions, because it's really my family.
It's an amazing story. Can you tell me about how your jacket was made?
Well, well, my jacket, I mean, I went to the store, I got the jacket. My friend manufactured those emblems. I put them on, and I said, I have to, for memory's sake, I have to wear it, and I did. It's hot, but I wore it.
And in the 1950s, it was quite an international school, I understand.
Yes.
Can you explain what it was like going into that environment?
Well, I came to England to become an English gentleman. Instead, when I left England, I had English with an Israeli accent. So they asked me, how come you speak with an Israeli accent? Because there were so many Israelis there that in England, I got English with an Israeli accent.
And do you remember, were there any Muslim boys from the Middle East?
Yes, we had a lot of Muslim boys. And actually, they were my friends. We were very cordially. There was a fellow, Abdullah, who was extremely strong. And there were a bunch of others, yes. But we didn't discriminate.
Do you remember where they were from? Or?
Iraq, Persia, all over. The reason is that we had kosher food. And as a good Muslim, they needed to eat kosher food, and the children sent them to Whittinghame.
And were there any teachers who you remember making a particular impact on you? Or the headmaster, or the assistant master? Or?
Well, they made me half a gentleman, because the other half, the Israeli boys, made me non-gentleman. So the most important thing I learned there was discipline, camaraderie, respect for others, but even more how to debate. We used to have a debating society, and you were asked to debate from the right and from the left on the same topic. So now I love to debate, but unfortunately most people cannot understand both sides. So, so it's like a joke. I try to debate with them on both sides, and they get so confused. They're afraid to debate with me.
And that stayed with you.
Yes, actually it formed my life. It formed my life. It brought me into a moment of maturity, understanding what democracy is, understanding freedom of thought, understanding both sides of the equation. It's carried me throughout my life.
And you mentioned your mother made such sacrifices to send you to school.
Yes.
And after you had 5, 6, 7 years of this education, did you go back to Israel, and what was that like?
Well, I'm a patriot, and I felt that Israel can only exist if people are prepared to put their life on the line. So I went to the Israeli army, and I was in a commando unit, and we had to fight the Syrians. But I said, if I die, it's for a good cause. Well, I didn't die, so I'm here.
And that was in the 67 war?
No, before that. I was not part of the 67 war. I was in something called skirmishes, when we would go into enemy territory and destroy bunkers and things like this. And we would be in the worst area, which is the Golan Heights. It's a very big mountain. We had to climb that mountain to kill the enemy and come down. It was quite difficult.
And did you stay in the army after that?
No, I just was 3 years in the army. And then I went to study in United States.
And did you stay in touch with anyone that you'd met in Whittinghame?
Yes, I have friends all over the world, and I even traveled over the world to visit them. And I went to my friend in the Philippines, I went to my friend in Persia, Bahari in Persia, Itzhak Jamal in the Philippines, Victor in San Francisco, Eli Harari in San Francisco, and a whole bunch of them all over the world. I went to visit them.
And did you have any business with them, or was this?
No, it's purely friendly. I didn't do any business. I tried to do business with one guy, Axelrod. He's a tycoon he has, I don't know, billions of dollars in offices in Manhattan. So I tried to do business with him, but the deal I brought him, he didn't like it. I said, okay, that doesn't affect my friendship with him.
And tell me about the Alumni, the Old Boys network, because did that start as soon as you'd left school, or was it a bit later?
For about 30 years or 40 years, we didn't have any kind of reunion until Smith decided, went to, I think, Cambridge or Oxford, to collect the addresses of all the boys and to write to them and to create the reunions. And actually, I missed the first few reunions because I was not aware of them. And he really did an amazing job to create reunions.
And you mentioned that it was like a family for you when you were in Whittinghame.
It's still a family for me.
How can that feeling survive such a long period?
Well, it's amazing. Most of those people have a family, very wealthy families, but they still feel the same way the way I do.
That sense of brotherhood.
Yes. Even though they don't need, in my case it's different because I grew up after 11 by myself. But most boys can very, very comfortable, wealthy families, and but they still feel the same, the way I feel.
And what do you attribute that to? I mean, that sense of brotherhood at the school?
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer because I don't know what they're thinking. But I know their spirit. The spirit is here. Otherwise, why would they come from all over the world? It was like a moment where people changed from a boy to a man, away from the family, and your new family were the boys in Whittinghame College. And we created a tremendous bond and it lasted forever.
And what does it feel like to be back in Brighton now?
Well, it feels very special. It feels special. I went yesterday to the Whittinghamian school, and I walked around. The only thing left is a sign, but the memories are there.
And if you had to sum up what Whittinghame has meant for you in terms of shaping your life or your thinking, what would you say?
It made me into, as I said earlier, half a gentleman. It made me very determined to succeed. It showed me what the British had to offer. The British, unfortunately, we are losing it now, but the British had to offer a way of being a gentleman, a way of being respectful of others, a way of respecting tradition and the philosophy of fair play. All these things are disappearing, and I'm sorry for England losing them. I had to fight many teddy boys. I was a boxer for this school. And when we had a fight, the teddy boys came to attack us because they did not like foreigners. So they challenged us. There's a little park called Preston Park. So the whole school went to Preston Park, and they selected me to fight on behalf of the school. So the teddy boys selected a teddy boy to fight me. So I'm quite fast and quite strong. So we went behind the bushes, and we stayed there 15, 20 minutes, I don't remember. And he was all bashed up. He went out of the park, and all the Whittinghamians got scared. If this guy looks so bad, who knows what happened to Tony? He's not even showing up. So I came out with not one scratch. Since then, they never bothered us. But I had a fight with teddy boys here in Whiskey A Go-Go. I came to Whiskey A Go-Go, and the foreigners, I tried to pick up one of the girls there. She turned out to be the girlfriend of a semi-professional, the brother of a semi-professional boxer. Well, I was very ignorant. Anyway, so they said, he wants to talk to you, not the boxer, his brother. I said, okay. And like a stupid boy, I go out between the cars in Whiskey A Go-Go, and the guy waiting for him to talk to me. So he goes 20 feet up the road. He runs towards me to punch me. I'm very fast. So when he came towards me, I gave him a kick in the balls. The guy was flat on the surface. All the boys from Whiskey A Go-Go who told me goodbye, goodbye, moved away, So I became accepted. So my friend Itzhak, who was a little tiny boy, came to Whiskey A Go-Go. They started bothering him. So he said, this is my brother. So they moved away from him. But I know sometimes they have switchblades and all that. Nothing bothered me. They accepted me.
And did you have a guardian when you were in the school?
No, I had no guardian. I was a lone ranger. All the boys used to go in groups. I used to go by myself. I never got caught. Going in groups, schmuts will go to the dancing hall, will catch them and punish them. They never caught me. I always knew how to do secret work. I bought a bicycle, and I would go at night, because there are no buses, with a bicycle, and nobody caught me.
And just to sum up, how would you describe the importance of the network of old boys listening today?
I know that when I want to travel, if I want to, we have a book. I can open the book and find a Whittinghamian. I can call him, and I'm always will be welcome. So many of the boys have this network all over the world, and we keep in touch. And even if you don't know the person, he might be younger or older, he will welcome you.
And does that apply to people's children as well?
I'm not familiar with that. I know I met some children, but I'm not familiar.
It's been fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate that. Bye-bye.